Hey, how you doing, everybody? I'm the Dr. Bob Lee. You're watching Open. It's that live interactive program that brings the Bronx to New York City straight to your TV set. Stay connected to us through social media at BronxNet TV. Leading things off, our first guest is an entrepreneur, an author, and founder of A.P. Lee Product. And we see him out in the community all the time. He joins us to speak about his book, highlighting manners, learning, and etiquette. Please welcome to the show, Percy Lee Anderson. Percy, how are you?
Thank you. All right, I'm good.
How you feeling? I see you out there all the time, but let our public know who you are and what you're all about.
Okay, well, I'm a veteran, but also a vendor. I've been all over. You know, I've been Atlanta on Bronx Day. I'm usually 125th Street. I've been to Queens, Bronx, Brooklyn. I've been to a few places. Well, I want to stop by saying, you know, this is your house.
Yeah.
And usually when you go to someone's house, this is part of the courtesy, manner, and respect.
Yeah.
You bring a gift.
Yeah.
And I gave you one of my shirts from Harlem. But
yes.
didn't know your birthplace was actually Queens.
Yes.
And I have a Queens shirt, as you can see. In the red, black, and that is a gift for you. When you go to people's house, you bring something to them.
Thank you so much. I appreciate you.
Okay, and I just show a display of some of the shirts I've done. And I know people have seen me because I always rock my Bronx shirt.
And when you say you're a vendor, you set up at different spots.
That's correct.
And you know, you display everything that you have, that you're selling.
Bronx. I did all 5 boroughs: Harlem, New York City. I've gone to Atlanta for Bronx Day, and I did Atlanta shirts.
Yeah.
I'm a veteran also, so I've been doing some of the counties down there. Some of my shipmates still living there. I went down there and did some of the counties. Norfolk, Richmond, my father was born there. Portsmouth, where the shipyards, and actually my first son was also born there.
Yeah.
Say Newport News. I went AWOL there.
Oh, Navy vet went AWOL.
Yeah.
But listen, thank you for your service, though.
And this is a copy of one of the shirts I actually gave you. I took a picture with you on this one.
Thank you.
I even went a little international to Dominican Republic.
Oh, all right.
You know, we definitely can't forget Manhattan. And just recently, the Puerto Rican Day Parade, but I also did Puerto Rico.
Yes.
But yeah, this
Beautiful.
is just a piece of, you know, what I've been doing over the last few years. Actually, me and my co-author, I'll say that, Dee Massey, she's also from Queensbridge.
All right.
She grew up there, and we started writing, as you can see, the top books. Kenny's Day in School, Kenny Makes a New Friend, and Kenny is faces peer pressure.
Yeah.
That's about a child that gets into things but gets out of it the right way. It's along those same lines, you know, courtesy, manner, and respect comes in there. And as we, you know, because it all started off as conversation. And once conversation dies out, there's nothing changed. So we decided to put it into words.
Right.
You know, so other people can read about it. And then we even spoke about the games that we played. Because after we
don't play those games anymore.
No.
Well, you don't see it.
Right.
It's there. We know about it, but a lot of people,
exactly.
you look at, you know, people playing on the playground, you don't see them playing double dutch, maybe in some places, but not too often.
After we finished our chores in the house, we were out the door. We were running kick can, pot peas and butter, and all of that stuff.
Yeah.
We were more physically fit then than they are today.
Ring-a-lariat, 1, 2, 3. Tag, even tag.
Biggest thing on them was PlayStation, and you know what? Your thumb's gonna be strong. You know, we ran, we jumped, we climbed.
Yeah. So you got strong thumbs.
Yeah.
You can put them to use.
For hitchhiking. Well, they got a couple of poetry books, but they're positive and uplifting poems, and then there's Wake Up Call.
But what made you want to get into writing and becoming a vendor?
Well, it was just like I said. We were talking. It was conversation, but over the years, and you can see it, disrespect had risen to a higher level. It wasn't just the young kids; it was the older people.
Yeah.
You know, disrespect across the board. You know, I held the door for an older couple. They walked through like I was the doorman. No, thank you. No.
Well,
older than
you get that every now and then, yeah.
Right. But you know, when you do something, you do it from the heart. So you don't worry about, you didn't say welcome. You know what? Let it go.
Do you say thank you when they walk through? Thank you.
Oh, yes.
Just reminding them that they didn't say thank you.
Well, that's sometimes that push, but sometimes you just let it go, you know.
But you remind them sometimes, oh yeah, thank you.
Yeah. But, you know, it's the thing about just having that common courtesy. Well, like they say, common courtesy is not even common anymore. You know, it's so bad that it's called the me first syndrome. It's in my next book. But, you know, me and my co-author, we kind of parted ways because she's into teaching. So she moved south and continued the teaching.
Yeah.
And I decided to write a couple of books myself. And as you can see on the bottom here, people learning everyday etiquette and positive learning equates etiquette.
Yeah.
You know, and that's something about, that's the same thing. There's a walking etiquette, a talking etiquette, a dining etiquette, a dressing etiquette, and for those a little older, a driving etiquette.
And even etiquette when you go through a revolving door.
Oh, of course.
That's the only time you go first.
That's it. That's
for
it.
a woman.
But then you got
you
some
can push
people.
the door.
You got some people that it's the me first syndrome.
Yeah.
And you got people sitting on the steps. You're trying to get in your building. Why would you need to say excuse me? They see you coming. Automatically step to the side. If you got bags, you remember this when you were a kid. Oh, Miss Jones, you need a hand with those bags?
Yeah.
They wouldn't even say anything to you. And then they sit there and wait for you to say, excuse me. You know, and that doesn't make sense. It's common courtesy, you know.
Yeah. So what are 5 things you would tell youngsters, maybe junior high school, you know, children growing up?
These things have been, as I say, people say, that's old school. The 5 things, respect your elders, you respect your parents first, and then you respect yourself. It's a sad state of affairs, as I call it. You remember when we came up and damn. Oh, excuse me, Miss Jones. Damn was a bad word.
Yeah.
Today's kids go down the street, young kids, elders, and they're cursing and let profanity fly. Little kids take this in. Remember, kids are recorders. They're taking this in. They go to school and they say the same words, and boom, we got a domino effect. The kids are learning all disrespect.
Well, my oldest brother says it. My mother said it. I heard my father say it to my mother.
Right.
Yeah.
But it depends on the individual. Some of them will go that way, and some of them won't, because you'll learn good and bad.
Yeah.
And some kids will, no, I'll never do that, or they'll say, I want to be just like that, you know.
So that's one of the things they should teach, right from wrong. Now,
Right.
you know right from wrong. You know if you go that way, you know you're going to get your little spanking. Or
Right,
right. You know, we're going to talk.
Well, that's the thing about
Well, I'm
it.
going to look at you a certain way.
See,
You know it's not going to be right.
They outlaw discipline. You know, that's the thing about it.
You can't go cut your own switch anymore.
No, but here's the thing about it. You take a telephone from a young kid today, they'll lose their minds. See, but there must be discipline, because I'll say it like this. The parents are paying the bills. The kids are running the house. You know, they came up with that rule, you can't discipline your child, because they outlawed it. So a kid does what he wants. I remember when I was coming up, we were in bed at 9 o'clock. Today you'll see an 11-year-old kid out in the street. School is the next day, but they're out at 11 o'clock at night. Who's running the house? You know, it's been off the wall, you know. And then I want to say, with the same 2 books, a good friend of mine turned around and helped me translate those same books into Spanish. So, you know, because Hispanics are our biggest group coming into the city. Matter of fact, the United States. So this is something that's international, courtesy, manner, respect, that needs to be spread everywhere. So I want to say it like this. I'm coming out to the schools. I'm a DOE vendor. I'm going out to programs. I'm looking to hook up wherever kids or adults are, because children of all ages, because we got 30 and 40 and 50-year-old kids still running around out here. Let's see, growing old is mandatory. Growing up is optional.
Yeah.
So we got to still raise some of them up so they're aware of what they need to do as far as being an adult. You know, it's about a maturity thing.
If you're talking to parents, what would you tell parents about this?
You tell your parents, you know, you want to teach your child the right way, because I'll say it like this. They'd call it old school, like I said. It was something that was handed down from our great-grandparents, to our grandparents, to our parents, to us. But in the 80s, we got hit with 2 epidemics, say HIV and crack. knocked out a whole generation, but not all of them. For some of those parents that were able to make it back, we continued to teach. But then we had some of the kids in foster care. We got kids that grandparents tried to raise, but they raised their kids, so they didn't have the same enthusiasm. And then you turned around and went against the grain. Some of these kids did what they want, and like I said, with society changing the rules, outlawing discipline, things went sideways, you know.
How much of what you've learned from your parents that you use today in your etiquette books?
Well, it's just about everything, you know.
Everything.
Like I said, the gift, that was something my father, when you go to somebody's house, you bring something.
Bring something.
You know, you don't turn around and
come
just
up to eat
show
up everybody's food and then break out and take a big plate home.
Exactly. You know, that's something you did automatically. And then people just, they do what they want, because it's like I said, it's the me first syndrome. But you try and remember what your parents taught you, and you try and improve on it with teaching not only your children, because remember, it's a village that raises a child.
Yeah.
Sometimes you've got to talk to other kids, you know, maybe.
All right, let's run through it. Bring the book, put the one that you had up there before. We're going to run through it and give us a quick synopsis of each book.
Okay.
Here you go. This one right here.
Which one are we
Our
talking
producer's going to run this, put this back up, this book.
about? Okay.
Yes. Yeah. Positive Learning Creates Etiquette.
Okay.
I think that's one right there. There you go.
Okay.
A
This
quickie.
book here is still along the same lines. As you can see on the back of the book, actually, that's my mother and father and my older brother. You know, matter of fact, my older brother just passed recently, March the 5th.
Sorry to hear
And
My
on the
condolences.
other side is my, thank you, is my children's mother. She passed a few years back. And we brought up our children. You know, we fell into the 80s craziness too, but were able to make it back through that. You know, I've turned around. I said I got out the Navy in the end of 85. I always say it's like a joke. I went in a sail and I came out a pirate. I was off the hook. Yeah.
All righty now.
Yeah. But, you know, like I said, my thought process kicked in and whatnot. I was still, I worked a lot of jobs. And, well, it's going to be in another book. But turn around, I finally got it together about 92. And I ran into a gentleman, J.C. Bridges. Now, a lot of people don't equate that with anything, you know, that's his name, J.C. And I went in doing movie locations, and it was kind of odd. The first movie I ever worked on was Miracle on 34th Street.
Oh, wow.
But now, it was the remake.
Yeah.
And I acquainted it, it took me years later, J.C. What do you equate J.C. with? Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
And what did Jesus Christ? Create miracles. And turn around, J.C. Bridges, I meet him. He puts me on a movie called Miracle on 34th. J.C. created a miracle. And I did that job for 13 years.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
So, I mean, he gave me a new start on life then.
Good,
and I
good.
was functioning.
I got about a minute left.
Yes.
What's coming up next that you're going to get involved in that people should know about?
Well, I'm still, my biggest thing, like I said, is to actually push these books. I want to, like I said, connect with Department of Education, ACS, Department of Homelessness, private organizations also, because this is something that needs to be reignited. Courtesy, manner, and respect on all levels. Like I said, there's an etiquette at everything. And today's kids, they don't know anything about responsibility. Remember, the parents are paying the bills. You've got to do something in the house to contribute to the household.
Right.
So I'm reaching out.
Back in the day,
direction.
you didn't eat if you didn't contribute.
That's right.
Where can we go to get more information on you? You got website, social media?
Oh, well, everything should be there in credits, but yeah. Or you can run into me on 125th Street.
Okay.
Saturdays and Sundays only.
There you go.
I'm right off of Sephora's, right across from Victoria's Secrets. You all know that one.
Yeah. So apleeproducts.com.
As you can see, yes,
There you go. Thank you so much. Thanks for hanging out with me. All right.
All right.
Percy Leanne is an author, entrepreneur, and founder, AP Lee Product. Thank you.
You're welcome.
All
man.
right. And see you on 125th Street. We'll take a break. I've got more coming up next on Open.